if you look at, Russia's form on land, there have been countless ceasefires that Russia has just not honoured, both in the Ukrainian war and also in Syria and other wars as well.
How soon could grain exports resume from Ukraine? Well, Russia and Ukraine have signed parallel deals brokered with the help of the United Nations and Turkey. It's expected to help bring down grain prices and ease a global food crisis. Hannah Lucinda Smith is the Times correspondent in Istanbul and joins us on Times Radio this morning. Morning, Hannah.
Good morning.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Hannah, I'm curious as to what role Turkey played in the negotiations. How did they get it over the line?
Sure, well, Turkey's in this kind of really unique position in that it's got good relations with both Ukraine and with Russia. And there's not many countries, certainly not many countries in NATO or Western countries that can say that. So, since the start of the conflict, Turkey's been playing this role, this kind of mediation role. Back in March, it hosted the first kind of face-to-face meetings between the Ukrainian and Russian delegations. There was some hope there that there might be a kind of move towards a peace agreement, but obviously since then, a lot's happened, and actually, if anything, the kind of things have kind of got worse, the war's got more complicated. But yeah, I mean, certainly for Turkey and also for President Erdogan, if you look back to the beginning of this year, it almost a pariah within NATO. No one really wanted to meet with President Erdogan. He had a really hard time getting people like President Biden to meet with him. And now all of a sudden, he's kind of indispensable. He's getting kudos from all over the place, from Antonio Guterres yesterday, who thanked Turkey effusively, also the US, in statements as well. So Turkey's really managed to find itself this kind of role that's indispensable to the rest of the West.
It was a show of statesmanship, really, from President Erdogan. This has been in the mix, this grain deal, for a long time. And we'd, heard various back and forth about how it was going to happen and then not. Do you know what kind of the reason behind the delay? Was it just simply that negotiating with Russia was incredibly hard? And was there one specific element or, some bit of detail which meant that this got over the line?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were getting kind of snippets of information, sort of, off the record bits of information from the start of the week that, maybe it was going to be on Wednesday. And obviously that didn't happen. And then all of a sudden on Thursday night, they said, okay, it's going to be tomorrow. And I think, as you said, it's just the difficulty of, getting agreement between these two sides. We found out some of the things that Ukraine was demanding from various Ukrainian officials. So, the fact that they signed parallel documents, they weren't, even really meeting face to face. Ukraine was absolutely adamant that Russia should take absolutely no role in escorting ships across the Black Sea. So, yeah, I mean, clearly from Ukraine's point of view, there have been ceasefires before on land. This is basically a ceasefire at sea.
Yeah.
It's basically saying, okay, we won't have any hostilities to allow the passage of these food ships. But if you look at Russia's form on land, there have been countless ceasefires that Russia has just not honoured. Both in the Ukrainian war and also in Syria and other wars as well. So from the Ukrainian perspective, they really wanted terms that would ensure that Russia could not do anything to kind of jeopardise the agreement.
Very briefly, Turkey are apparently going to be inspecting ships due to fears of weapons smuggling. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's going to be a monitoring centre set up in Istanbul. Ships are going to come here. They're going to be inspected. There's going to be various inspections at different ports, because this is one of Russia's fears. They say, well, what if these ships are used not for food but to smuggle different things? So yeah, there's going to be an oversight centre in Istanbul. It's going to be overseen by the Turks, also by the UN, and also by the Ukrainians and by the Russians. So we'll have to see how long this is all going to take to set up. It's a very, very complex mechanism. When the deal was released yesterday, it's two sides of A4, full sides, full of terms of how this is going to work. So it's going to be a very, very complex deal.
All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing us up to date from the Turkish perspective. Hannah Lucinda Smith is the Times' correspondent in Istanbul. Thanks, Hannah.